So I think AI levels the playing ground for people with ADHD. Think of it like glasses for people that can't see that well, or a wheelchair for someone that's struggling with walking. I can get a really great visual produced with AI, expressing my idea so much faster than before. I think it's really exciting, but you have to be very careful and make sure you don't burn out. Your productivity may have gone up 10x, but your nervous system and everything you need to feel grounded has not. How do you choose when to rest? How do you choose what to prioritize? So I made this video so that other ADHD moms like me who may have realized it later in life know that if you're using AI and getting so much more stuff done, it's not because you're cheating or something's wrong with it. It actually fills a gap we really need. I recently found out I have ADHD, and it was such a clarifying piece of knowledge to have about myself. The million ideas that you get inspired by but never finish. The exhaustion of caring so much and feeling so passionate about so many things and not being able to show up the way that you want to. So if you're someone that's late diagnosed ADHD or neurodivergent in some way, and you've spent a lifetime feeling frustrated because you can't seem to keep up with all your ideas, this video is for you. This video has 3 parts. 1, what's actually happening in your ADHD brain when you can't finish something. 2, why AI works differently for brains like ours. 3, how your personal values are the essential guardrail to use AI without burning out. Okay, so let's get into it. So 1, what's actually happening in an ADHD brain when you can't finish something? Here's something about ADHD. A lot of people think it's a motivation thing or you're being lazy or whatever, especially before you have the language and the context of ADHD. It's actually a dopamine regulation problem. The ADHD brain doesn't produce dopamine steadily, right? The way a neurotypical brain does. What happens is it's actually pretty low on a regular basis, and it really spikes intensely when there's something new, something novel, something that feels really urgent or emotionally charged. Your dopamine spikes. You're on fire. You feel brilliant. You can do anything. You can make decisions quick and get stuff done. So what happens is, though, when you're not in an emergency, when you don't have a pending deadline and things don't feel super urgent, the dopamine levels out to your normal low state. When it levels out, your excitement drops, you feel tired, you feel nothing, you don't feel motivated, and then you just can't make yourself complete the idea. This is also why executive function is hard. Executive function is related, but it's different. And your executive function is your ability to plan, start, sequence, and complete tasks. Does that sound like really daunting for you as someone with ADHD? And it runs on dopamine. So when your dopamine's low, guess what happens to your executive function? It's also low. So it's not that we're lazy. It's not that we're not motivated or we can't plan stuff. It's actually just in our chemistry and how our brains are made. There's so many studies about this. A recent one that happened in December 2025 out of Washington University found that the ADHD brain's reward and wakefulness systems are central to how we operate, not attention. It's called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, right? But it's not really about attention. It's actually about our reward system and dopamine. What that means in like simple terms is that our brains are wired to respond to novelty and reward above anything else. The second thing that happens that's not so scientific or stuff like that is something I've personally experienced, but our confidence. Confidence isn't something you kind of say a mantra or like talk yourself into. Confidence builds based on outcome and action, right? But what happens to ADHD people, especially if you're not diagnosed and you've been struggling and white knuckling your whole life? You have all these ideas, you start a lot of projects, and you rarely finish it. But what happens when you finish something is you build confidence. You earn trust in yourself. Like, I can do this. I can do things that I say I can do. What happens when you don't finish? The opposite, right? It degrades your self confidence. It degrades your self trust. Oh, I'm someone that doesn't finish things. Oh, I always fizzle out or I lose momentum. I guess that wasn't something I was really interested in, right? All those tapes go, and then your confidence drops. And so that tied with the dopamine response and the executive function, it's like this endless spiral. So for a lot of people that have ADHD or some sort of neurodivergency that has similar impact, they also often suffer from low self-confidence until they figure it out and they can kind of short circuit it. And we'll talk about that here. So 2, why AI works so well for ADHD minds. And the reason is this, that time between inspiration and execution dramatically reduces. That whole journey from I have an amazing idea, I'm so excited about it, and then all that momentum and energy needed to get started on it, that's really hard for ADHD people. AI steps in, sets the plan for you, like gets rid of the blank page and starts building momentum for you. And with that, you start having wins. And with wins, your confidence goes up. With more confidence, you have more energy within you to work with the dopamine levels, to work with your lower executive function abilities, right? Because your confidence is higher. So you have more to work with to kind of like reset and rebalance and rewire what you were naturally born with. So AI is that bridge. It helps us to go from idea to execution, and we get to have more wins faster than we've ever had in our whole lives, honestly. And it's not cheating. Some people think it's cheating, but I really think of it like glasses for people that can't see that well, or a wheelchair for someone that's struggling with walking. And so I think AI levels the playing ground for people with neurodivergency, ADHD. For me specifically, that I've experienced this benefit, and I was so excited to see there's actual data on it. There's a UK government study that found that neurodiverse workers are 25% more satisfied using AI tools than neurotypical colleagues. It's been really exciting to finally build momentum, get more things done, because it's been incredibly healing and it's been such an amplifier for my confidence building journey. But with any good thing, too much of it is a bad thing, right? So part 3, how values are the essential guardrail to avoid burnout. So what I've found, and what you may be finding, is that when you remove the friction between inspiration to execution, everything becomes faster and faster. And I know like a lot of execs are very happy about that because their workers are more productive, right? And it's also exciting for someone with ADHD who would struggle to get one thing done to be able to get 10 things done in the same amount or less time. That's thrilling. So it's kind of addictive, honestly. But you have to put in guardrails because your productivity and your thinking may have gone up 10x, but your nervous system and your body and everything you need to feel grounded has not. How do you do that? How do you choose when to rest? How do you choose what to prioritize? This is where values come in, especially when everything is much easier to get done. And as someone with ADHD, you're like constantly inspired and have so many ideas that you want to execute, right? How do you decide what to do? This is where values come in. When you know what actually matters to you, like authentically matters to you, not what people have been telling you should matter or like people pleasing stuff, you have a filter that you can work with. So you look at everything that AI is enabling you to do, and you really put it against a filter. What does this action ladder up to in terms of a personal value or goal of mine, right? And if it doesn't ladder up, you got to look at it. It's either you cut that off your list, or maybe it does signify an emerging value that you have that's really resonant and important to you. So for neurodivergent women, especially those of us that have spent a lifetime feeling like we're too much, we're too little, we're people pleasing, we can't finish our tasks, all this stuff, values are not just for prioritization. They're foundational. They're essential to building self-trust and self-confidence. So for me personally, I have experienced the benefits of AI helping me get done in so many aspects of my life. An example I can think of recent is just at work. I'm a digital product designer, and I often have so many ideas immediately when there's some problem to be solved, right? And I've noticed that I'm very quick to come up with concepts in brainstorming sessions, and a lot of them are often pretty unique. But then what do you have to do? You have to communicate that idea to stakeholders, to leaders, to other designers. You have to sell it. I can sell them verbally because I'm passionate about them, but you need a visual. It's design. You need some artifact to share. Creating that artifact is where I always got stuck with my ADHD. I would kind of get lost in the details of it, and it would take me longer, and then the moment would have shifted or someone else's idea was expressed before mine. So I kind of always felt like I had momentum and it would drop, and I couldn't like meet the moment because of my ADHD. But now with AI, that gap between idea and execution that I mentioned is so much shorter. I can get a really great visual produced with AI, expressing my idea so much faster than before. And because it was my idea, iterating on what the AI produces is super quick. And I am the one that has the internal taste and judgment based on, is this image expressing what I'm thinking accurately? And if not, I can adjust it very quickly. And that has given me a lot of wins at work. And it's been really, really thrilling. But I've also used my values to decide which projects I'm going to engage in and invest in, and like how best to use that energy, because I can't do every project, right? Even though I actually could time wise with AI, I'm not doing it because I don't want to burn out. I don't want my brain to fizzle, which I felt it almost doing sometimes because I'm doing so much more than I used to with the same amount of time. So I just think it's really exciting, but you have to be very careful and make sure you don't burn out by getting clear on your values and using them as a guardrail. So if that resonated, let me know. Feel free to like or subscribe to my channel. I'm Diana, and I'm a deep feeling mom with late diagnosed ADHD, sharing what's working for me as I'm on my journey to rebuild authentic self confidence.